Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for live tarot on this evening of June 15th, 2024. Beautiful to see everyone. So, to begin, I'm just going to ask you all if you could take a 1 second to please like and subscribe. The likes really do count. This is a non-monetized channel, and it really does help boost the algorithm. So if you could just do me a little bit of karmic good and hit the like button, it means so much. Also, if you are interested in reaching out for a private reading or conversation, my email is below, and you can reach me at snappyddts@gmail.com. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. So let's take a moment to just talk about the astrology. So the astrology today is actually largely the same as we've been seeing. So we have this incredible, powerful energy of Gemini that is still dominating everything, right? Gemini Sun, Gemini Venus, Gemini Mercury, Gemini Jupiter. All of this energy of learning and communication, right? Of being in community and being inspired through everyone. The big shift that's still here from the last day is this energy of the Libra moon. And it's really been affecting me deeply, I think. And it's just such a beautiful energy. This is that energy of learning to perceive and receive beauty and to strive after that kind of beautiful imagery, that perfection. You know, Libra is so connected to this idea of the beautiful and of just that image. And this is something that's really deeply profound to me in my path. I'm very moved by the aesthetic path. That is, receive through the perception of images, reaching the divine. And it shouldn't be as a surprise to anyone. And I mean, a lot of people are confused, but this is the heart of what the tarot is. You know, the tarot is divine images. Each card is an eidolon, right? An eidolon. Each card will connect you to a grander mythopoetic framework, an image, a transcendent idea, right? These Jungian myths, right? Much more ancient than Jung, but Jung identifies this kind of stuff, right? It's deep, profound stuff. And through the reception of these images, through the continual perception, going back again and again, perceiving them again and again, new insight can forever be gleaned. Right? The tarot is said to be representative of the entirety of the universe, of all different conceptions. And through perception and reception and engagement with these images, one can perceive the divine, you know? And it's even more than just things like the tarot, right? It's this perception of beauty and of expansion and of pushing things really deeply. And what I mean, and like, I'm really into mythology, and I believe in the power of myth, okay, and exploring myth. And I think everyone needs to explore this, as well as poetry, you know, and metaphor. Metaphor is such a profound idea, and exploring the depth of meaning and connecting and creating new meaning is a really powerful thing. I'm really interested in, moved by this concept within Indian aesthetics, okay, that's called Vani, or extended metaphor, or, you know, the many different metaphorical meanings that one can receive from a myth through repeated reception. And there's this scholar called Harman who talks about this. And this is in the book that my professor had me purchase, Leaves of the People Leave, Dr. Harsha Vidahasia. He quotes this scholar Harman, and he says, metaphors, when they are sustained, can reveal new realities. They are not literal statements, but neither are they the flowery flights of the imagination. They have meaning in large part because they invite us to think about one subject in the context of another. They propose a way of conceptualizing which may well provide valuable insight. And at least they permit us to think about the less familiar in terms of the more familiar. That is what it makes sense to use metaphors and to sustain them when we speak about more abstract matters. It is an important feature of metaphor that, if the metaphor is a good one, in appreciating it, one goes well beyond the bare formulation of the utterance. This is to respond to the dynamics of a good metaphor. Appreciation of the metaphor involves more than the simple given. It expands one to infinite connections, and it brings one to witty observations and newness of being. Okay, wow. And then I wanted to add just a comment that Harsha made in this book that really hit home with me in describing and talking about myth. Okay? It says, some myths can be a form of non-didactic epistemology. Its images are not just icons, but symbols, symbola. Its narratives, not just ordinary stories, but cosmic drama. Its function, not just to give entertainment, but to provide an alternative system of knowledge, rescuing as it does our primal loneliness and isolation in this world, and connecting us meaningfully to the world around us, the world of the gods and goddesses, divine and celestial beings, the sun and the stars, the moon and the planets, the rivers and the ocean, the birds and the blossoms, and the energy that pervades these. And in doing this, provides us with a noetic vision of the larger life, a life that may be mainly anthropomorphic, but which is multi-centric, multi-perspected. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Right? I just love this idea. And it's so true to me. I've had such a profound connection to myth and to image and to story. And I believe that this is how, at least personally, how I've always connected and understood reality. So to expand upon this and to create my own stories and to connect different stories is the most rewarding of things, right? And that's what this is all about. So I'm just going to give another shout out to some of the people in the chat here. So love seeing Rob and Estuck, Valerie, shout out to you. Shout out to Mother Rhea, Aaron Moore, Occult Examiner, Exit 101, William, great to see you. Always happy to have so many people in the chat. Good to see you, Nancy. Ruby's Fishing Adventure. Hi, Ruby and Jeremy. Good to see you, Carrie. Always wonderful. Thank you all for joining me. So we're going to start by doing some more sortes. You got my little lecture on beauty. This is the kind of thing that I've been feeling, right? Just this idea of learning to perceive, learning to just appreciate, to try and glean and to see what's in front of us, you know? Just absorb the beauty and be in that and love it and explore it. So much knowledge is there to be gained, right? So we're going to start today with Chapman's Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey. I don't need to say much about Homer. Homer is the GOAT, right? These are the myths of the Greco-Roman tradition, you know? This is the lingua franca. This is the most important of these images. The Chapman's Homer is not the best Homer, but I got this for $1.50, and it was a beautiful purchase. So we're gonna do the sortes with Homer. For those of you who are not familiar, the sortes is a form of divination through bibliomancy, that is through literature. What we're going to do is we're going to invoke the muses, the goddesses of inspiration. We're going to ask them to guide our hand, and then we're going to select at random a line, read it out of context, and we're going to use that line to inspire us, to guide us forward. Okay, so muses, guide my hand. What inspiration do we need? What can Homer teach us? How do we best move forward and flow? Okay. Of wealthy gifts, and would conduct his steps themselves safely home, which he might long ago his pleasure make. Of wealthy gifts, and would conduct of wealthy gifts, and would conduct his steps themselves safe home, which he might long ago his pleasure make. Wow. You know, this is about the Odyssey, right? And this is about the journey, right? So often we want to return home. We want to go back to that beginning, to that security, to that safety, right? Everyone is looking for that safe home, you know, that long ago. But it's never, ever something you can return to, you know? And even when you return to it, it is different than it was. And it is a struggle to be there, as we see in the story. You know, and I believe that the message here is just reminding us, you know, it's about the journey. It's not about looking back to that return home. You know, we need to embrace the going forward, the transformation, because even if you do return home, it's never the same. It's not the place it was. You can't go back. You can remember what it was and reflect upon the past. You can have an image, you can have a picture, you can even have video, you know, but you can't go there. That place no longer exists, right? And you are no longer the same person. Even if you go back and eat the same foods, do the same things, it'll feel different. It is fundamentally different, you know? You can never step foot in the same river twice, right? All right. Oh my gosh. Young God, I am not 40 years old, but I am not young either. All right. We're going to move on to our next sortes. We're going to use the Book of Thoth, Egyptian Tarot. One of my favorite books of all time, written by Aleister Crowley. If you're interested in tarot, this is the book to read. So, Muses, guide my hand. What is the inspiration we should take from Crowley? How do we best move forward? All right. Let's see here. Okay. One of his greatest faults is pride, meanness and pettiness of any kind. He holds in infinite scorn. Wow. One of his greatest faults is pride, meanness and pettiness of any kind. He holds in infinite scorn. What a profound message. What a profound message, right? Okay. This is a reminder, you know, pride is easily overlooked in individuals, especially when you have success. But we always have to remember that success comes at the wind of fortuna, you know, Tai Chi. Everything is fleeting. And any success that you have is partially based upon those around you and partially just luck. You know, you can't be too prideful, you know, because your fortune will change. That is the reality, right? And this is a great fault. And then the second part, meanness and pettiness of any kind, he holds in infinite scorn. Infinite scorn, meanness and pettiness, right? There's no need for this kind of stuff, to take out our anger on others, to be petty and just to hurt, to just, when we know better, right? To know this is bullying. This is just unacceptable behavior, right? So not only do we have to be watchful of pride, but then the bullying that comes from it. You know, often you do see this in kind of a magical context, and we do need to be weary of this because there is a lot of mystery that is hard to explain and hard to describe. And there is a way of teaching where you send people to sources and you help them make the discovery and connections on their own. But that can easily be misconstrued. And often, you know, people are sensitive, and we have to watch ourselves too. We don't know everything. No one knows everything, right? The smartest are those who admit that they know nothing, right? Be like the gadfly, like Socrates. Question everything, including yourself, and be willing to pivot. You have to adapt and change. You have to be able to do so. It's such a central thing to life, you know, and to be in flow with the goddess is to be ever in that change, because she is the many, the unfolding, the ever changing, ever expanding, right? You know, so it's so important. You got to resist that meanness. Try to be in love. Try to be in flow, right? You got to resist pride. Remember that everything comes at the wind of fortune. All right. Let us continue. Thank you, Crowley. That was beautiful. We're going to go now to Arcana Mundi. This is a really fun book. This is written by George Luck, and it's a collection of ancient Greco-Roman texts that are about magic and the occult, you know, that are translated and then commentated on. And it's just a really beautiful text. And this is some of my first introduction to this kind of world of Greek and Roman magic. So it's a beautiful text. All right, Muses, guide my hand. What do we need to know? Help me move and flow. Give me inspiration. All right. Moreover, as is often the case, Greek mythology seems to have preserved a part of the literal historical truth by making Apollo kill the Pythoness. Wow. Moreover, as is often the case, Greek mythology seems to have preserved a part of the literal historical truth by making Apollo kill the Pythoness. Kill Python, right? This is talking about Delphi. This is about how in the mythology, Apollo slays Python and then becomes the provider of oracular vision to the oracles, right? But there is an older, ancient tradition, right? The snake, Python, the feminine cult, right? That was there well before the Olympians arrived. And this is a constant theme we see in the Greek text, which is what George Luck is alluding to, that there's a Chthonian prior hegemony that was feminine and monstrous in many ways and magical, right? That has been obscured and vilified through the text in the same way that we see later traditions vilified, right? Where the beauty of Pan becomes the parody of Satan, right? In the same way, the Medusa is a parody, right, of something ancient and greater than what we see in the Greek text, you know? So there's so much going on in this idea. And we just need to remember these mythologies and these cycles of change and transformation, right? And that everything goes through these flows and cycles. What is once begins in greatness and in freedom and expansive growth always turns. It through that pursuit of perfection, it starts to calcify, and then it becomes cold and Saturnian, and it becomes unable to move, unable to change. It starts to resist and consume itself until it must be overthrown by its offspring, right? That which is not it, but similar. And it is replaced. And these are the cycles, as we see, right? They continuously unfold forever and ever. And you can see this reflected in just about everything. Nietzsche talks about this through the Apollonian and the Dionysian, right? These flips between the poles. We also see this within, Ammon talks about this, where at the oracle of Delphi would be ruled partially by Apollo, 2 years of Apollo, 1 year of Dionysus. And this is that flip. This is that energy of transformation, right? Between the light and the dark. Apollo is the bright sun, the Helios, right? Dionysus is the dark sun of the underworld. And there's this constant transformation that happens between the two that leads to this constant cyclical change, right? Where we need this Dionysian energy to come and overthrow the old calcified energy that refuses to adapt. Otherwise, we can't pivot, we can't change. And if you cannot adapt, you destroy yourself, right? Well, that which does not change, that which resists flow, inevitably is forced into change. If you can't adapt, then what you are will cease to be, and you will be remade in the image of the mother. It's just how it is. All right. Heavy stuff, everyone. Let us continue. Okay, we're going to go to the Psychic Bible, right? This is an amazing, incredible book that is largely written by Genesis P-Orridge, but also by their incredible fan base, their spiritual collective, the Temple of Psychic Youth. If you like this kind of stuff, I really recommend Jason Louv. They have a channel here on YouTube called Magical Me. They're one of the editors and contributors to this book, so worth checking out. All right, we're going to ask the muse, guide our hand, send us some inspiration. What do we need to know? Where do we go from here? All right. Okay. We set up an old tape recorder on the kitchen table where many a dinner soiree was held over his New York years and hit records. This just makes me think of family home, but also this incredible collaborative sense, right? It's kind of interesting. There's this idea in this statement, right? We set up an old tape recorder on the kitchen table where many a dinner soiree was held over his New York years and hit record. So these are musicians, collaborators, friends. And where do they set up to record? Where do they decide to produce their art? Where they eat? In the home, where it's most meaningful, where they have that friendly play, where they did party, where they did get together and appreciate art and have deep conversations. This is a powerful idea, right? To be in that flow, in that community, in that play with your friends, and to treat the art, to treat this kind of stuff as a feasting, It's such a beautiful thing. It makes me think of so much of the Dionysian festivals where you would be singing and dancing and play, right? Where you're creating for the feasting and the sharing for your friends and for your family. And that's the most important kind of, I think, magic really is that celebration of life, right? That stuff that allows us to persist in spite of the suffering and the difficulties. And this is what music can do. It can bring people together in community and in hope and in friendliness and in shared collaboration. Wow. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much. So those are our sortases. I hope that was enlightening for you guys. Now we're going to move to our tarot. As always, I love to use Lady Frida Harris's and Aleister Crowley's tarot deck. These are divine images for me, eidolons. This is something that you can meditate upon, gaze in, and find infinite meaning. Each card contains the meaning of all other cards. Each card is a portal to a mythopoetic framework, an image that can teleport you to different realms, provide incredible insight. We're going to invoke the energy of Saturn. We're going to explore this energy. We're going to expose ourselves upon the plate, dissect ourselves, and ask, what are the issues? How do we move and flow? How do we best observe? And how do we best enact our true will? Okay. Muses, guide my hand. What is the messages that we need to know? The first card is always the most important. All right. Haunted by debauchery. Haunted by debauchery. Any of you who watches this regularly will know that this card has been haunting us, right? So there's something here that we're missing. Something here we're missing, okay? It's not just people, right? There's also this energy of being in sloth, being in laziness, being in that, self-centered pursuit of just waste, right? A lot of debauch is about wasted energy, wasted time. It's excuse the profanity, but it's masturbation, right? Meaningless, wasteful, nothing. So this is the center energy here that we need to overcome. There is that kind of wastefulness, decadence, indulgence, right? We're being lazy. There's this kind of energy of just, not taking responsibility. And you need to take responsibility. You have to be in that practicable mode of production. And if you're constantly engaging, this is a big issue for the aesthete path, right? Those who want to perceive, want to engage in the love, want to engage in lovemaking, you have to do this in balance, dote and antidote, right? Any of this kind of pleasures, the entheogens, the love, it can easily turn to this. Let's see where this is going, because I have some thoughts, but I want to see what the energy is. What is this that's coming up here? Okay. All right. Well, that's beautiful to see. So the sun, right? This is the most powerful card in the deck in terms of positivity. This is achieving your dreams, getting what you want, right? This is about that beautiful abundance. But there is also a twist to this energy, right? When you see debauch and you see the sun, what is the dark side of the sun? the solar anus, that overproduction of shit, overgrowth, overproducing to the point where things start to rot, right? Wastefulness. You have to be very careful of these two energies together. You know, it leads to so much overproduction that then it can't expand, and then it dies out, and then you're left with desolation. All right, let us continue. What's going on the other side? Is this a super positive sun that's overcoming the debauch, or is this that negative sun, that black sun? Beautiful. We're moving on. We're moving on. This is coming an end. This is the end of a cycle, right? Rebirth of something new. This is the real, you know what I'm getting here? This is that real hard lesson, but it's going to bring so much profound beauty. And that hard lesson of taking responsible action. This is this is cleaning up your room, right? This is stopping and knowing, you know, being responsible, holding yourself to account, right? Like if you're going to do magic, you want to be in that fast beforehand, right? You want to be in the right mental state. You have to take the responsible action. If you just do shit on a whim without thinking, without trying in a messy space, it's never going to do anything, you know? So this is really about this energy of just overcoming laziness, overcoming, you know, excess, erotic, you know, like you got to get out of this just addictive indulgence, right? Addictive indulgence. And there's still this energy too, a little bit of like people are fueling this. There's an energy of some people who are encouraging this indulgence. So just be mindful of that. And that encouraging could be in the form of argumentation, right? Can be in the form of just debase stuff, bull stuff, you know? Those people who just bring you down and bring out the worst of you. Remember, we got to remove ourselves from this prideful thought, this meanness, and this pettiness. If people don't understand you or they want to argue with you, you got to just get out of there. Not worth your time, you know? Let's see where this energy is going. So on the top of the square, we have adjustment. Libra energy. Very fitting for our Libra moon. And in that debauch, what I'm seeing here is, yeah, this is about balancing things. So it's not even okay. Many of us are doing things that are not totally horrible for us, okay? That are not the worst thing in the world, but they are becoming a problem because there's an imbalance, okay? There's an imbalance, right? So this is like, I'm thinking of addiction, but not the worst kind of addiction. This is like, you know, smoking too much pot when you should be just taking it easy and regulating it, you know, especially if you're going to do magic, right? This is something I think of for a lot of magicians. You know, people want to have that expansive and theogenic experience, and then they engage something like cannabis, and all of a sudden they lose their dreams. The dreams are gone, right? And then it's like, oh, well, I can't have dreams and smoking too much cannabis. Dote and antidote, right? It can bring you to these profound meditative states where you can experience that energy, but then it can also stop you entirely from connecting to that spiritual other in your dream, right? Adjustment. Putting things into balance. You know, I was talking to a friend about this. It's like you got to set those regular routines, you know, to keep things up to date, up to thing. You know, everyone always wonders what is the, you know, I'm a double Virgo. I get it. So my stuff is like, people are like, how do you do that? How do you do that? And it's like, you do it all the time. You got to organize your life, you know, and you got to routinize it. And you got to get into that mode of putting things away, right? Finding a place for things, conceptualizing it, and recognizing how important that is to the energy of your life. Well, you know, cannabis is a great thing. Some people are saying, oh, but cannabis made me rich. And yeah, cannabis is wonderful. Cannabis is wonderful. There's no shade. It's about knowing your body, right? What works for you, right? I love cannabis. I use cannabis regularly and I recommend it to people, but it's all about personal stuff, right? With any entheogen, you have to remember that this is all about the body. And you really have to know yourself to go down these paths, because there is the potential for issues to arise. You know, the issue with cannabis is you stop dreaming, you're a little, lazy, right? It's not that bad. But still, this can be detrimental in the long run, and it's just something to be aware of, right? It's a lot worse if you're doing something like alcohol, right? You're trying to engage with wine. That can easily spin your life out of control, So just being in this mindset of being aware of yourself, what works for you, who you are. You see someone who does a ton of stuff and is fine. That may not be you. Okay. All right, let us continue. Yeah, we got that truce. Everything in balance, adjustment and truce, right? The four suits. Your mind is at ease. This is about bringing everything into that harmony, right? Balancing your life. And this includes your habits. It includes your physical stuff as well as your thoughts. It's about taking that disciplined action. The theme that we've been seeing is this engaging of beauty and trying to perceive and be. Part of that is this refinement process. You have to constantly be trying to perfect and see things clearer. You want to be in this state of, like, people get mad when people talk like this, but it's up to you. It's your choice. But honestly, if you want to have success, you have to discipline yourself. If you want success, you have to discipline yourself. If you want success, you have to do the work. You have to do the reading. You have to do the meditation. You have to imagine and you have to practice all of this, right? It requires an engagement. It requires a shift in everything. There are no easy, there are no shortcuts. Not a single one for anyone, All right, let's continue. Dominion. Being in control of your passion and your will, right? This is, you have all this energy, you have all this power, you have all this potential, right? The two is ever expansive, ever explosive, but it can go one of two ways, love or violence, right? How is this going to show up? How are you going to express this energy, right? We need to make sure it's in balanced and it's in truce, right? We need to direct our will in a very profound way. We have all this energy, all this potential, all this power. You want to make sure that it goes to loving things, creative things, things that support, that build you up in others, right? This will bring in good karma. This will bring in so much powerful transformation. And you have to take that responsibility. You have the will, you have the power. Everyone talks about, the true will, the true will. Love under will, right? Everything has to be seen through the perspective of love, loving action. Otherwise, this becomes corroded. There is no true will without love. And you got to remember that. So you got to balance this energy. Think about it. Make sure that when you act, you're acting in flow and in harmony and you're not hurting others, right? And if you do hurt others, you make amends. That's simple. Beautiful energy. Taurus energy, right? That great mother energy, but in the earth, in the physical reality, and seen through this active kind of masculine lens, right? Of authority and of will, right? This is the law, but that ancient unfolding natural law, adapt or die. And this is also those who try to exploit that law, try to hide that law, make amendments to that law, compound upon that law, right? Let's continue. Okay. We have the Princess of Cups connecting to our Hierophant, right? Our Taurus Venus energy connected to this beautiful princess energy. This is that child, right? The birth of new love, of new growth. The princess always foretells the queen, this incredible upgrade. this incredible birthing of something. So, what I'm seeing here is that there's a relationship connection here, traditional one, you know. This is what I'm seeing is kind of like that connection that is spiritual, for the birth of a spiritual loving child, right? A child of cup, right? To produce that spiritual growth. Interesting. Wow, beautiful. Let's continue. Peace. So what I'm seeing here, okay, there is a little bit of resistance or just overthinking. Less resistance, but definitely overthinking. We need to be in this peace energy, right? Because we need to be at peace with what's unfolding for us. This energy of this child, this cup, this is ancient. This is law. This is unfolding. This is happening to you, right? And you need to just go with it and embrace it and upgrade with it, right? And be at peace. Be in that mental state of acceptance. Your reason brought you here. You made these choices, right? And now it's unfolding, and it's like you're seeing the end of this karmic cycle. Things are now outside of your control to a certain extent. This is law now, right? And when anything becomes that kind of flow, people start to panic because they start to lose their sense of individuality, hence pan. Right? Anytime you get to that all, you start to perceive the all, you start to feel like you no longer are willingness. The universe is pushing you. It always brings a bit of fear. But it's always the most beautiful thing, and it's what you need, it's what you want, it's what you've been dreaming of. Be at peace with it. Okay. Let's continue. We're going to flip my camera here so you can see the full square, and then we're going to make the connections. Okay. So here is our full unfolding of the square. So we're going to start on this side here. But before I begin, I just want to take a moment and ask you all if you could just do me a favor and like and subscribe. Please hit that like button. Give me a blessing. Give me that good karma. It's good for everyone. It really does help the algorithm. It makes a big difference for these live streams. The channel's unmonetized. This is a good way to boost everything. If you like what you see, just hit the like. Also, if you are interested, I offer private readings. Hit me up. We can discuss more. My email is in the description, snappydds@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to my spiel. I appreciate it. All right, now we do this energy here. We have our sun, right? That profound dream come true energy, and it's connected to this, more of this truce, being at peace and accepting, and this new child coming in, this love coming in, this beautiful energy. This is either a project or a person or a child, but it's something profound and new that needs to be nurtured and cared for, that is a result of this love, right? And this is unfolding, and you just need to be in that flow and acceptance. Oh, wow. I love to see that so much. So when we go here, there's some interesting thing here, So part of this debauchery, what I'm seeing, is there's almost too much of a slow movement here. The Hierophant is also this energy of very conservative, resisting of change, wanting to stay in the past because it's understandable. That's where their power is, right? It's in the tradition. It's in that ancient law. So some of this debauchery we're seeing is a result of being too much in this energy, and it's causing bad action and inaction. And, it's like that energy of, oh, where's the sign? Goddess, lead me, tell me what to do. And you're not moving. And now everything's getting messy. You got to adjust this. You got to bring in some action. You got to get out of that conservative mindset and adopt change. Change is going to remove this stagnation. It's going to, you're stuck in patterns where there is bad habits that have formed, and you need to break the bad habits, right? But you are comfortable, but it doesn't matter. You got to break the comfort. You got to adjust this, all right? You want to be in flow. You don't want your cups to be stagnant and gross. Look at them. They're gross. All right. Let's continue. So we have that beautiful energy of the Kori, right? Persephone in that egg of the universe, both completion and a new birth, the end and the beginning, that transformation, that powerful, powerful card of just that ascension, coming to that throne of power in taking and growing up. This is that energy of the princess becoming the queen, you know? Powerful. So what we see connected to that will energy, that dominion, and that peace is, again, what I'm seeing here is that we've enacted our will. You asked for this. This is what you wanted. This is what you want. This is what you've been working towards. You need to accept this and be at peace and let the cycle play out how it is playing out. No more magic. The magic has been done. You could try to change this. You can throw your monkey in the wrench in the way if you want, but it's telling you like this is what's meant to happen, right? Everything is unfolding as it should. You know, dreams are coming true. Love and children are coming in. You just need to get out of this rut. Embrace this joy. Embrace this goodness. Organize your life and figure it out in the name of Cro-Mags. For anyone who loves hardcore. Right? That's the energy. That's the energy. You just need to be in that flow. Your dreams are coming true. Good things on the way. Adjust. Think. Be at peace. Don't fight. Don't resist. You earn this. All right. Love to see it. Love to see it. Such beautiful energy. Beautiful, beautiful energy. All right. So just going to do one quick pull from the fairy cards to end it. I didn't do fairies earlier. I do have another stream coming up at 8 o'clock, so I don't want to take too long. That stream is going to be with my good friend Graham, who is an incredible poet. You should go check out their work. You can find their links in the description on all of the videos that we do together. And yeah, they're a musician, a poet, mental health advocate, amazing person, dear friend. And we're going to be talking about Aldous Huxley and the Doors of Perception, one of the most brilliant and interesting men of, modern times, and someone who really understood the magic, the entheogenic path, who understood this idea of returning to sort of a perennial philosophy, to the ancient past, going back to that primitive, really in line with people like Terence McKenna. Beautiful stuff. It's going to be fun. Can't wait to get into it with you. And Graham is dug deep and brought out the best of Doors of Perception. And we're going to dissect it, put it on a plate, talk about it for you. It's going to be fun. So let's ask the fairies here. Fairies, what's their final message for the day? What's the final energy? Okay. Come together, right? Come together. Makes me think of the other sortes too, right? There's this coming together in beauty and harmony, working together in community, right? Fairies like to be busy, and a group of them is showing you that many hands make light work. Working as a team helps get the job done. Collaborate with others, being that shared loving connection. Be open to these connections, right? And come join me on the stream, guys. Searching for Dragons is going to be live in about 15 minutes. Come say hi to Graham and I. There's so many of you here, and I appreciate all the support. It's beautiful to have it. And just one last comment, please like and subscribe. All right, everyone. This was a beautiful day, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will have more live tarot. Until then, peace and love. Take care.